Hi, my name is James Nielsen. This is for FTH212, the week 4 assignment. Today's date is April 11th, 2025. In the first part of this assignment, I will be practicing stippling techniques and patterns on these practice panels. And then in part 2, we'll be moving on to our PSA Dagger. All right, so the first part of this is to show 3 roughed out shapes on our practice panels here. So I have just kind of a shape of what like a grip would be. On the back side of this one, I just did a little diamond. And then on this one, I did a little bit, I don't know, just some kind of cool little shapes that kind of would be kind of also in the shape of a grip. So I'm gonna go ahead now and take my rotary tool and cut out all my borders, and I'll get back with you when I have them all roughed out. All right, realizing how long this would take to actually cut out all the borders and all these shapes, I'm just gonna go ahead and count each one of these individual shapes here as my 3 shapes. And instead of using my rotary tool, because this polymer is a little bit different than, say, of like a frame, and it's a little bit harder, I would say, to Dremel out with this little small bit. So I actually used my flex cut tool to carve in all these borders. This does a really nice job of keeping straight lines as long as you go nice and slow and keep steady pressure. So now I'm gonna go ahead and clean this up a little bit more, and we'll texture in some pattern here, and I'll be right back with you. All right, as you can see, I'm ready to start stippling my 3 patterns here. I've kind of gone through and sanded down all of the edges to kind of give it that slight recessed border. And then once my iron's heated up, I'll go ahead and stipple in 3 different patterns, and be back with you when I have it finished. All right, so I have all of my different patterns done here. I'll come in a little bit closer and give you guys a little better look at the 3 patterns that I chose to practice with. All right, so first we have our sprinkle pattern. I just use a rectangle tip, and I'll stitch in the border with a uniform pattern, and then I'll just fill it in randomly throughout. The second pattern we have here is just using a smaller medium round tip, and I just drag it around randomly, just kind of drag it over everything. And then our third one up here is a random big dot pattern. I take a small tip, point it all out, dot it all out, and then come back through with a larger round tip and finish it off. Out of these 3, this I would say is the most aggressive, and I would choose this for like an everyday carry. It's grippy, but it's not overly aggressive. This one is kind of an in-between. It's aggressive, but not too aggressive. That's my 3 patterns, my 3 shapes, and now we'll get moved on to part 2. All right, let's go ahead with part 2. For part 2, I'm gonna go ahead and stipple our PSA Dagger frame. Before I get started with stippling it, I am gonna go ahead and get rid of this finger groove and undercut the trigger guard. Once I get that done, I'll be back with you guys. I'll show you what I'm gonna lay out as far as where I'm gonna stipple, and we'll go from there. All right, so I'm back. I have gotten rid of the finger groove here, and you can probably see that I have undercut the trigger guard. And I have also drawn out some spots where I'm going to cut in some borders and stipple. And then I'm just gonna go ahead and remove all the factory texture, leaving these straps here. And then that's gonna be where I'm going to stipple in the new pattern. You can see here I have this portion marked out. I'm gonna stipple in that area as well. So I'll be back with you after I get all this factory texture out, and we begin stippling. All right, so here we have all of the factory texture has been removed. As you can see, I left the Palmetto logos still intact. I got the front finger groove is gone, all cut out. We got our undercut trigger guard here. I don't know if it wants to focus, but you can see I'm gonna stipple that bottom section in there as well. I like the look of it, the shape. And then I also have the up here. We're gonna go ahead and stipple in that. Both sides. I will say, for doing borders, this flex cut tool, it's a 1.5 millimeter U-gouge. This thing is awesome for cutting lines, straight lines in polymer, like for here and this, even coming into these nice curves. This thing works awesome. So with that said, I'm gonna go ahead and start laying out my double basket weave pattern. And once I'm finished, I'll be back with you guys to show you the results. All right, I'm back. I have my dagger completely finished. I'll go ahead and show clear here. There is no ammunition in the magazine well or in our chamber. Firearm is clear and safe. Now, we'll go ahead and go over part 3 of this assignment, and then I will bring you guys in for a closer look of the dagger. Part 3 is going to be a process, articulation, and reflection. Now, describe the process you use to complete parts 1 and 2. I've been doing this for a little bit now, so there's some tools that I like to use. Like I mentioned earlier, my flex cut tool for cutting some borders. I also like to use these small round bits that come in with Dremel tools. Well, I'm using a cheap Harbor Freight one. And then there's also a larger one. These little balls have like kind of fluting on them, and they cut through the polymer really nicely. And then after I cleaned up all the factory texture, it really is just a matter of kind of smoothing it out. I don't go crazy and sand it all smooth. I really don't think that's necessary. I just actually really smooth it out with this ball, get it as nice as I can, and then I just go over it. Discuss any difficulties encountered. Didn't really encounter any difficulties. I've done this many times before already. As you can see, my other dagger is done in the same double basket weave pattern. And number 3, reflect on what can be done to make the process smoother in the future. Like I just said, I've been doing this for a little bit. I kind of already know what tools I like to use, the process I like to use, and yeah, I really enjoy doing it. Here's a AR lower. I did a random big dot pattern on, super aggressive, very grippy. And but I will say the double basket weave is my favorite. And again, this thing is clear, but I'm gonna go ahead and bring you guys in and give you a closer look of the pattern. All right, so here it is. The double basket weave. Still have those palmetto logos in there. We added in our, some texture up here for our support hand, as well as on the opposite side, we have the same. And then again, over here, pattern with the palmetto logo. Back strap, double basket weave. The back plate, double basket weave. And then the front strap, no more finger groove, double basket weave, and we did the under the trigger guard there. So That's it. I love how it turned out, and I'll see you in next week's video. Thank you.